And it's POB with MLB News, back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to do Start, Bench, Cut MLB Edition 2020. So you might be wondering, what does this mean? What is this? So it's pretty much means Start is the best player out of these three players, in my opinion, and we're ranking superstars. We're ranking some of the best players at each position, and we might do a part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. I don't know. So make sure you like the video so there's a possible part 2. And subscribe. There's a lot of you that watch these videos that are not yet subscribed. Get your life together and hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Yeah, it just makes it a lot easier for you, the viewer. And yeah, I mean, you don't have to. You just get a notification right to your phone, tablet, computer. It's so much easier. Hit that subscribe button. Okay. So, our first start bench cut is start obviously being the best one, bench being second best, and third being cut. Bauer, DeGrom, and Bieber. These were probably the top 3 pitchers in baseball this year. Bauer was really good this season. He was probably the best pitcher in the NL, probably the best pitcher in baseball this season. I think we're going off 2020 mainly here. DeGrom is another interesting one, but in this case, going off this year, I think I have to cut DeGrom, which seems crazy for a back-to-back NL Cy Young, but I think it's what I'm going to do here, and I'm going to cut DeGrom. Now, this is not meaning that any of these pitchers are necessarily bad. It just means that I don't think they're better than the other 2 ahead of them, or the one ahead of them. And next bench is Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber was very good this year, don't get me wrong, but I feel like Bauer was just a little better, and he's going to be my start here. I just think he was a lot better this season than any pitcher. He was very consistent. He would probably give up 4 runs or less every time he went out there, and for the Reds, that was definitely great considering Luis Castillo wasn't that great this year, and they should do anything they can to re-sign this offseason. Yeah. Next is Freed, Cole, or Darvish. This one's interesting. This is 3 pitchers that are probably in that next tier of Cy Young this season. Darvish is questionable because he was good for the first half of the season, almost unhittable. And then for the second half, he just kind of fell off. So that's why I'm going to put him on cut on this list. I just don't think he's nearly as good. I think he's an overrated player. He just gets overrated a lot. I just feel like he's so overrated. He's the classic example of mediocrity. Or mediocrity. That's not a word. Mediocre. Next is on the bench. I'm going to go with Garrett Cole. And this may seem a little crazy, but I'm going to go with Garrett Cole. I think Garrett Cole is a player that's very good. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't feel like he was better than Max Fried, the player ahead of him this season. He's going to be start on my list. He's that second tier type of player this year, but he was still very good, don't get me wrong. And Fried was such a big part of how the Braves almost made it to the World Series before they managed to choke. He was such a big part of the Braves when Soroka went out. He was great. It just felt like a win every time he went out there. Next is some more starting pitchers, and that's going to be Lamet, Kershaw, and Ryu. Coming in on cut on this list is going to be Dinelson Lamet. And Dinelson Lamet was not a tough player to put on the cut here, but I feel like I just feel like it's a reality because he was injured for quite a bit of the season, or towards the end of the season, and he didn't get to pitch the whole season. Now Ryu was injured too, but I feel like Ryu was better when he did play. Next is bench, and that's going to be Hyunjin Ryu. Hyunjin Ryu is going to get the bench. I just don't think he can be the start on this list. I think he would if he had played the whole season, and his stats would have been a ton better. And start is going to be Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw finally showed that he's not as terrible in the playoffs. He was in 2017 and 2018. He was getting banged on in 2017 and 20. Obviously, that didn't happen in 2019, but they were banging in 2017 and 2018. They were cheating as well. In 2020, that just did not seem to be the case, and because of that, Kershaw was a lot better of a player in the playoffs. Next are our catchers, Darno, Perez, or Sean Murphy. And Sean Murphy is going to get on. He's going to get last spot on this list, and I just don't think a rookie is necessarily the best catcher in baseball, and I don't think he was this year. I think the players ahead of him were just better. Next is Travis d'Arnaud of the Atlanta Braves. Travis d'Arnaud was really good this season. Had a not a comeback season because he had never been good before. He had always been that mediocre player. He started to show signs of being a serviceable catcher with the Tampa Bay Rays of 2019, but in 2020 it's finally when it all clicked, and d'Arnaud is if he can keep this up for the 2021 season, he'll be getting a big contract soon. And the best catcher in baseball, I guess we could say this year, is Salvador Perez of the Kansas City Royals. Salvador Perez was very good. And I mean, we even left like Real Muto and Grandal off this list. So yeah, part 2 is definitely a possibility. Next is the first baseman. We've got Freeman, Goldschmidt, or Voit. In third place, it's going to be Luke Voit. I know this one may be a bit controversial, but I don't care because Luke Voit is just not. Luke Voit, he hit a lot of home runs, I'll give him that. He was the American League home run leader this season. But he was not. He just didn't play the field well. And when he did not hit home runs, he could barely run the bases. He ran about as slow as could be. He ran Albert Pujols speed out there, which is not good by any means. Coming in second place is going to be Paul Goldschmidt of the St. Louis Cardinals. I know his is with a bit of an asterisk on it because the Cardinals had a COVID outbreak and they didn't play for like 2 weeks, and that's a problem. But I still think Goldschmidt's ahead of Voit on my list. And coming in first place is going to be Freddy Freeman, my National League MVP pick. Personally, I just think he's one of the best in baseball. Next is the second baseman. We've got Brandon Lau of the Tampa Bay Rays, DJ Mayhew of the New York Yankees, and Robinson Cano of the New York Mets. Coming in third place is going to be Robinson Cano, or Cut, or whatever you want to call it. It's going to be Robinson Cano. Robinson Cano was very good this season, don't get me wrong, but he was just not better than the players ahead of him. Next is DJ LeMahieu. He's going to be in second place on this list, which may be a little crazy, but I think Brandon Lau was really good. Even though Lau did have struggles in the playoffs, he's going to come in first place for me. The struggle was real for him in the playoffs, but I'm not counting as much on the playoffs just because, like, Cano's team didn't make the playoffs. They were in 5th place. LeMahieu's team got bounced out in the first round. Hate to see that. Next is Lindor, Tatis, or Bogaerts. Coming in third place is going to be Tatis. He's going to be the cut out of start, bench, or cut on this list. And the reason he is because he did not perform nearly as well in the second half of the season. He performed well in the first half, don't get me wrong. He played great. But he was just not the same in the second half. And because of that, I don't think I can put him any higher than third place. Coming in at second place is going to be Francisco Lindor this year. Francisco Lindor just was not nearly as good this year, which maybe it is a Maybe it changes his trade value a little bit. I don't think it does. He's been a good player in the MLB for many years. And coming in at first place is going to be Xander Bogaerts. He is probably one of the top 5 most underrated players in baseball right now, and he just doesn't get talked about enough. And next is Chapman, Arenado, or Bregman. Coming in third place is going to be Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman would have probably been in second place on this list, but he's not because he did have injuries, and you really never know in the future how he's going to come back from these injuries. So that's questionable, but I still think Chapman is better than a lot of third basemen this year. Coming in second place is going to be Alex Bregman of the Houston Astros. Alex Bregman was one of the few hitters that could hit without the trash cans. He was also one of the players that did apologize for the trash cans, unlike Carlos Correa, Jose Altuve, Alex Cora, which I could have made a video on Alex Cora. It would have been like a 4-minute video though, and that would have just been kind of boring. Next is Soto, Ozuna, and Rosarina. Coming in third place for me is going to be Randy Rosarina of the Tampa Bay Rays. And I know this is kind of crazy, but Rosarina really didn't start hitting that great till the playoffs. And we're not taking nearly as much account into the playoffs just because a lot of these players didn't even make the playoffs. And because of that, Rosarina's in third place. If we're going just off the playoffs, then he's in first place on this list. Next is Juan Soto. He's going to come in second place on this list, which may seem crazy in previous years that Ozuna is ahead of Soto, but he was this year. Ozuna was so good for the Braves this season. He's one of the players that the Braves, I feel like it's kind of mandatory that they get him back this offseason. Next is one that's probably one of the toughest ones for start, bench, or cut on this list. And that's Acuna, Bellinger, and Trout. The one I'm going to cut is Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger did not perform well in 2020, and he's so on and off. I just have got to pick him in third place. In second place is going to be Ronald Acuna of the Atlanta Braves. He's really good, but he doesn't beat out Trout, who's in first place. There's not much to be said here. Trout is one of the best players in baseball. One of the best players. He is the best player in baseball. Next is Betts, Conforto, or Springer. Coming in third place is going to be Michael Conforto of the New York Mets. He's been very solid since he's came up. Just not nearly as he just doesn't make a huge impact to his team. He's good, but not great. Next is George Springer coming in second place. And Springer in second place, he was the only hitter that he was the best hitter on the Astros by far this year. Considering there was no trash cans, they had a rough time as far as hitting. And coming in first place is going to be Mookie Betts. Not much to be said here. He's the second best player in baseball in my opinion. And now we're going to do some relief pitchers, Hader, Chapman, or Janssen. Coming in third place is going to be Aroldis Chapman. Aroldis Chapman, he's good, but Next is Kimberly Janssen of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Kimberly Janssen was very good this season, just maybe not as good as Hader, who's in front of him, Josh Hader. And I know you guys saw by the thumbnail, where is Betts, Freeman, Trout? Here it is. You got to watch the end of the video. So, coming in third place, this is a tough one, but it's going to be Freddy Freeman. It's crazy to think that Freddy Freeman would be in third place of much of anything, but when you're talking about the two best players in baseball in front of him, he's cut. And bench is going to be Mookie Betts. Betts is very good, don't get me wrong, but Trout's just better. Trout's the best player in baseball, and there's not much question there. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Start Bench Cut MLB edition. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll get notified whenever I upload a video. Like I said in the beginning of this video, there's a lot of you that watch these videos and aren't subscribed, so make sure you get your life together and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications while you're at it. You'll get notified right to your phone, tablet, or computer, whichever it is. It just makes it a lot easier for you, the viewer, and I would really appreciate it. So, yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll be back with more videos soon.